Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we're going to initiate coverage on Nvidia stock, ticker symbol NVDA. They trade off the NASDAQ stock exchange, and their current price is $256.44. All right, guys, so let's start off with some of the negative things about Nvidia you're going to hear right now. That's what I really want to make you as investors aware of, is some of the negativity that comes with these companies. And so right here, this article got put out last week. So Morgan Stanley, which is a big bank, they downgraded the entire chip sector and warned investors to be cautious. So apparently they are basing this off of the slowdown in interest in cryptocurrency. So essentially there's not as many people trying to mine cryptocurrency right now. So the ridiculously high demand for chips like Nvidia, Intel, AMD, and Micron, other companies, the entire semiconductor industry as a whole has been downgraded, okay? And it could affect Nvidia if the demand for their graphics cards is slowing down. That could hurt sales. So just something to be aware of right there. All right, so here's another little piece of news that has kind of gotten some negative reception amongst Nvidia shareholders, is that last week Tesla announced that they're going to drop Nvidia as their primary chip maker, and that they're going to start trying to make their own AI chips. I don't think losing Tesla as a customer is really going to hurt Nvidia. You know, perhaps they had to. Tesla has got a lot of things going on right now. They seem very unstable at the moment. So I don't really know if the demand for Nvidia chips is still out there. This is not some huge contract that's really going to hurt the company, but a lot of Nvidia investors did find this to be a threat, and obviously Tesla announced it last week. So that's something else, I'd want you to be aware of before you buy Nvidia. All right, and here's another thing about Nvidia right here, is that the big argument I notice a lot of people seem to have about Nvidia is that it's run up too far too fast, okay? So I'm just gonna go to the chart and show you what kind of growth Nvidia's experienced over the last couple of years. And really, this stock did not take off until early 2016. I think all the interest poured back into crypto mining, and Nvidia really accelerated their growth. And as they started shifting more into artificial intelligence and autonomous vehicles and all the other things they supply for, you can see in about two and a half years time here, Nvidia has grown at an incredible rate. So they were a $20 to $30 stock pretty consistently for about 3 years, and like I said, ever since early 2016, this stock has been an absolute flight, and it's now even a large cap stock. They have about $150 billion market cap. So see, what a lot of people are going to say about Nvidia negatively is that it's grew too fast, it's overvalued, people are paying, people are caught investing in just buying the stock because it's hot, and so on and so forth. Now the balance sheet will tell a different story. I don't think that's the case at all. I think Nvidia offers a product that's highly in demand, and I think they also offer solutions for our future in artificial intelligence and cloud computing and autonomous vehicles and all the stuff that they're really involved in. Even their incoming competition from AMD in the gaming industry, they are so much more developed in artificial intelligence and cloud computing and autonomous vehicles, all this stuff that they're devoting their time to. So Nvidia is a good investment in my opinion for a long term, but it's also very fundamentally solid. So let's go look at the balance sheet. Now, as far as a balance sheet, guys, it's hard to find a company that is more impressive on a balance sheet than Nvidia, okay? So just a couple things. They're about $154 billion market cap company. Their forward PE is about a 32, and their trailing PE is about a 42, which is great. In my opinion, that is very, very decent number and decent metric to see there, because they have grown so much so rapidly. That is is coming in a little bit higher than some companies, but still very, very decent figure right there in the 40s and 30s, okay? And you come down here, let's stop right here at the profitability area, okay? So they operate with a 34% profit margin, a 35% operating margin. The return on assets is around 23%, and this one right here really knocks it out of the park. Return on equity is about 54%, which is outstanding. That's, you know, anytime you're getting that kind of return on your assets and equity, you're doing something right. That does help explain a lot of the growth at Nvidia. We can jump right over here, and as you can see, very few people hold this stock short in comparison to its competitor AMD. You know, their biggest competitor AMD, I think around 20 to 25% of shares are held on a short float, where Nvidia stays 2% and under, okay? So that's a very healthy metric to see, and sometimes it can be confusing, especially sometimes you think that Nvidia is having like a technical breakout due to short sale pressure, but that's rarely the case. You know, it's just more investors keep buying into the stock, okay? So they do pay a dividend. They pay about 58 cents per share, so it's not a huge dividend, but it is something, which is, again, most tech companies do not pay much dividend, but the reason you invest into Nvidia is to get the growth, okay? So I just look at the dividend as another small coin in the box. And then lastly is our overall balance sheet. Now I really want to focus in here on the debt and cash, okay? So this again is just huge, is that they have $7.3 billion of cash and only $2 billion of debt, okay? That is a fantastic ratio for how much cash they hold, but having also a very small amount of debt. So that also leverages Nvidia very well, guys, to keep developing and keep, you know, having the ability to stay very competitive inside of any field they decide they want to get involved with. The more money and the more cash you have on hand, the higher your ability to progress your company is going to be, okay? So very, very clean looking balance sheet. Now we'll take a look at earnings. The earnings are equally as impressive as the fundamentals, guys, okay? And something that really is amazing about Nvidia. So you have the last 4 quarters here where Nvidia has, you know, beat earnings and raised guidance, 5 consecutive quarters here. But the real impressive thing is that, like here, Q3 of 2017, they beat by 92 cents at EPS, okay? Then their guidance was raised to 94 cents. So if you want to think about this, they actually they're staying a quarter ahead of numbers, you know, right now. Here we go, Q4 of 2017. Their estimate was 94 cents. They actually beat by $1.33. Then their upper guidance was $1.17, okay? So again here, they are staying so far ahead of estimates. That's another accelerator that has really made the stock grown, is that they're beating their numbers. Now this growth trend could slow down a little bit, like I said, due to the slow in cryptocurrency interest, but we'll just have to wait and see. AMD had a great quarter, and I think Nvidia has a great quarter as well. They report on the 16th of August, so make sure if you start looking at Nvidia in 6 days, they'll be reporting earnings, so just be aware of that, okay? So let's talk about why Nvidia is such a highly in-demand company and stock, and I think that it has an incredibly big future to go on from here. So, you know, PC gaming is driven by Nvidia graphics cards, okay? They also have the graphics card in the Nintendo Switch. Of course, AMD is a supplier for Microsoft and Sony. But it really, you know, the most gaming is going to take place on PC, okay? Nvidia has got the graphics cards under control for PC. Another thing too, this is just kind of scraping the surface. It's really that there's three big industries that Nvidia is very, very advanced in, and that is cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and of course autonomous vehicles. And Nvidia is a very developed and continues to find more and more solutions for these three industries that, in my opinion, are just going to become stronger as the years go on. You know, automatic driving vehicles, if that ever becomes a mainstay or like a daily fixture, Nvidia plays a very big hand in that. They play a very big hand on developing artificial intelligence and of course cloud computing. They play a significant hand in all these things. So that's really where the investment is. It's not so much in that they're strictly just a chip maker. It's that you're investing into what they could be in the future, okay? And you take that, and then you take their ultra clean balance sheet and their outstanding earnings reports, and you know, most analysts across the board consider Nvidia a buy or a strong buy. You know, that's where the investment is that you're investing in the future. This company is going to offer a service and solutions futuristically in industries that are just going to continue to grow bigger, okay? So lastly, guys, one of the last things I want to touch on here is the Nvidia Investor Relations Department was fantastic. So I know this is kind of an old school thing. Not a lot of people do it anymore. They either buy a stock or they don't, and they do all their research and conduct all that on their own. But I still like to get in touch before I make a big investment in a company. I still like to get in touch with the I like to get in touch with the Investor Relations Department of any company I'm going to be investing in. And I just have to give Nvidia a shout out. They've been great, and they communicate well, and they send me stuff all the time. Also, up here too, if you sign up for the Nvidia News and subscribe, you're going to get all the email updates about all the new stuff that's coming out for the company. You can stay very updated and informed on any new moves Nvidia makes. So that's always good to see that, kind of get an introspective look at that, perhaps before most people do. So with that said, I'm giving Nvidia a strong buy rating, and I'm giving it a $500 price target in 3 years. I actually think it will outperform that. You know, granted, we don't come up against some big headwinds in the market, or we have a recession or anything like that, but I think Nvidia will safely hit $500 a share in 3 years.